Welcome to the Growth, Grace, and Prosperity Podcast. Join Stewart Heath for down-to-earth conversations with top professionals, entrepreneurs, and leaders who have a story to tell. Let's get rolling.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Growth, Grace, and Prosperity Podcast. I'm Stewart Heath, your host, founder, and CEO of Harvard Grace Capital. Joining us today is Debby Sapp, a distinguished chief financial officer here in the Nashville area. We are excited to hear from her experiences. Debby, thank you so much for joining us.
Well, you're so welcome. Glad to be here.
So, when you think back on your career, is there a time that you would say was a game changer for you?
Well, I've really always done accounting, really, since I was 17 years old. So I do believe whenever I've always been somewhat a financial, like take care of people's money and all that good stuff. Well, oh no, my dogs are barking.
We can edit that out.
Okay. And so about 15 years ago, when I decided to go with the company that I've been with forever, I got with he was the founding partner of the company, but most of the time that I had found in companies is that the owners didn't understand the accounting part of it. And so when I got with him, he literally understood accounting almost better than I did. So that was literally a game changer for me, because it was that I finally have an owner that understands accounting as much as I do. And we literally worked so well together to build businesses, to either have an exit or to buy a business to, eventually have an exit. So, and we just became very, worked very well together and could, but I do believe that was my game changer, just because I finally had an owner that understood numbers as well as I did.
As a CPA, I can completely identify and I can imagine what that was like. I've always felt like, being in a position of arguing with the owner when you tell them, well, here's the profit and loss. No, it's not.
Yeah.
And they want to count some cash on a contract they just signed, and they said, well, that might be accrual, but you haven't earned it yet. You actually have to.
Right.
You have to go do what you got to do before you can actually earn that revenue. Yeah, so totally get it. That would be a game changer for me too. So, Debby, everybody hits bumps in the roads along the way. And when you get to be my age, that might be several bumps in the road, or you might spend a year or so down in a good big pothole. Is there a time that you can share with us about and how you handled navigating the pothole or the bump in the road?
I think my biggest pothole, or that I literally go, but in return, it ended up working out well. So a lot of times when there is a bump in the road, sometimes it's for the best. But when the market and everything was crashing back in 2008, 2009, I had clients that I really just worked for myself, and I would do all their financial, I had 6 different clients, and it was literally like a drywall company. They had to go out of business because all of a sudden they didn't have any business. I had a publisher that all of a sudden, it was like, oh, I got to go do something else. I can't really write books anymore. Anyway, and it was literally like, oh my goodness, I am losing all my clients, and what am I going to do? And so, and I had done that for 15 years of my life. And so that's when I went out into the big old world. I was like, okay, I've got to go get a job. I mean, everybody needs accounting, right? So I knew that wasn't that big of a deal. But anyway, and that's when I met my business partner now that I'm currently, still with. And it was the best decision that I'd ever made, but it was the scariest decision, I think, too, at the moment,
Yeah, you had a nice, comfortable lifestyle, and then all of a sudden, life intervened, and
Yes.
that's a great one. That's a perfect example. And usually, you are glad when you come outside the other side of the bump or the pothole because you got a different perspective, but it was unexpected.
Yes.
And I always say this next question is about learning new stuff. Is that how I hate to do it, but it's not really true. You can identify it with I'm in the middle of CPE season, so we're coming to the end of the year, and I've got to get my continuing education credits, and I do love it. I mean, I even go like to sit in the classrooms these days when it could all be virtual, and because I like learning. But there are some types of learning I don't like, and it's like learning a new piece of software when the other version was fine, and that kind of process. How do you stay current and on top of the things that you need to stay on top of?
Well, I mean, a lot is reading. I do read a lot of articles. And a lot of times you got to be a little careful because it's like, what is really real and what's not real when it comes to like reading stuff online and all that good stuff. But I am a part of these, great groups through LinkedIn or whatever. And I'll do a podcast, listen to a podcast, or I'll, read an article on something. So mine's more of, I don't like to actually sit down and read a book, but I like to listen to a book. And so that's really, my biggest, sometimes, I'll go, I should go back to school and but then nope, don't want to do that. So it's just more of finding stuff out there, and AI is becoming so, and I have a tech company, so AI has become such a crucial, it's going to be one of those things of how when we didn't realize when we didn't have the internet, then all of a sudden now it's like, you don't even realize that you have the internet, right?
Right.
I believe that's how AI is going to happen. It's like all of a sudden it's like here, and it's probably been here for a little while, but all of a sudden it's going to be like, oh, I didn't even realize we never had AI,
Last week I sat through 2 days of a technology conference for CPAs, and it was probably 80% about AI. And I was fascinated to hear the experts that, we're actually years and years and years and years and a generation away from them taking over, which, like, all right, I don't have to worry about that one. Maybe my kids do, but
right.
Yeah. So any particular podcasts that you're listening to that you really enjoy and find helpful?
I just usually do a search of, like capital raising, or I'll do a search on, accounting something or whatever. So I wouldn't say I have, I probably would listen to, but I can't really think exactly. It's just more of researching of like, okay, I'm going to try to learn something new today, and I'll just do a search of what I'm thinking I want to learn that moment.
Gotcha. All right, let's pivot a little bit to wealth management, personal finance, things of that nature. And again, not looking for numbers, don't want any proprietary, but always fascinated about how our guests deploy their own personal investments. Are you a stuff the mattress kind of a person, or are you really into crypto or art, or how do you invest personally?
Well, I do wish in my lifetime that I probably would have invested into some crypto a long time ago, but no, I haven't. And believe me, I had a lot of friends that kept going, and work acquaintances of like, you need to do this, Debbie. And I'm more of stuff the mattress, because I don't know if it's just my accounting coming out of me or whatever, but I'm always like, let's play it safe with everything. And so I don't even like, and like even in the stock market, I'll do something safe, you know what I mean? Like not spend thousands of dollars, but hopefully in return that, that I will do well. But so yeah, I've thought about it, but I never pulled the trigger
Interesting.
on something, that's outside the box or, and, like I wish I would have invested into real estate way longer ago. I wish I would have, just little things that, if there's one thing I could tell younger folks that are just starting out the world, it's like, yes, really invest into something that that's going to grow and not invest in something that may or may not grow. But real estate's always going to grow. And, some things in the stock market is always going to grow. It may be really expensive right now, but there will be a time that it's going to double,
Yeah.
But, so yeah.
I mean, look today, last week after the election, it shot up, but now they're about to have a negative week. And because, the rally has petered out. And who knows what it'll do next week. But yeah, I do wish I'd had some Bitcoin on
I know.
Tuesday afternoon, November 5th, and I would have sold it by Friday.
I know.
All right. Well, we're coming to the end of our time here, Debbie. If you were mentoring somebody, or if there's somebody out there who wants to follow in your footsteps, what one piece of advice would you give them?
Balance cash every day of your life. Balance cash, knowing what is coming in or going out. It doesn't matter if it's $1, if it's $1 million, you treat it the same and balance cash every day because you always know where you are financially.
That is
at the end of the month.
Yeah.
At the end of the month, you will have a financial statement if you are balancing cash, which in return will show you in black and white of
Right.
what you really are doing. So that has been my, I can produce a financial statement very quickly. And it's one of my most favorite things to do. And that is what I have learned in my life is to balance cash every day.
Every day you come back so that you've got a firm foundation on what you know.
Yeah.
I like that.
You think but until you really see it in black and white, you don't really know.
Yeah. Yeah. Even me, as CPA, I can still deposit money twice in my head and spend it, less than once. And you always think you got more than you do. But if you come back every day and you reassess the truth,
Absolutely.
it's a good place to be. I like that a lot. Thank you very much. Well, Debbie, thank you so much for your time. I know you're a busy executive and appreciate you taking time out. If any of our viewers would like to contact you, reach out to you, maybe pick your brain some more about how do I balance cash every day or something like that, how would they reach out to you?
Of course, I'm on LinkedIn for one, but my email address is Debbie, and that's with the Y, DEBBY, at Kernel, and that's KERNEL, equity.com. So either way would be fine.
That is fabulous. Thank you for sharing that. And we'll make sure that gets in the show notes, folks. So wherever you're listening to the podcast, you'll be able to find that fairly easily. So again, Debbie, thank you for being here. And thank the viewers for joining us today on another episode of the Growth, Grace, and Prosperity podcast. Come back next time, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks.
Thanks for tuning in to the Growth, Grace, and Prosperity podcast. If you'd like to be a guest, visit growthgraceprosperity.com/guest. We'd love to hear your story.